Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Govberg, and thanks for logging on. Today we're looking at the Vacheron Constantin Overseas Perpetual Calendar Chronograph Boutique Edition of 80 pieces. You can see the stainless steel and titanium Vacheron Constantin Grand Complication on our website govbergwatches.com. Buy it there and subscribe to our YouTube channel if you enjoy these videos. Plus, download our app Govberg on Time for the latest news, views, and reviews of luxury watches. Now on my wrist, 6 1/3 inches, 16 centimeters in circumference, this 2012 special edition of 80 has the classical profile of the 2004 to 2015 second generation Vacheron Constantin Overseas, the one just about every collector agrees Vacheron just got right. The watch is 42 millimeters across the round of its case. Again, sort of an academic measurement since it's more of a cushion case than a round one, and that doesn't include the pushers, the crown guard, or the crown. But the watch is slim. Considering the degree of complexity, this timepiece is only 13 millimeters thick with a generously sloped Maltese cross motif titanium bezel. You can see how a dress cuff would easily ride up and over the flanks of this case. Now, from lug to lug, it does strut its stuff as a modern full-sized watch. 51 millimeters from extremity to extremity. It has good wrist presence without being excessive. It's an easy watch to wear on my 16 centimeter wrist, and I would say down to about 14 centimeters. You're really going to feel the same in terms of proportion, sizing, and security on the wrist. Now, the watch does maintain the integrated look of the Overseas on a bracelet, and it does so with a tapered, natural vulcanized rubber strap of exceptional quality. Now you can see how it's been given character lines on the exterior to mirror the Maltese cross motif where it abuts the lugs, but it's on the underside where this watch really shows the quality of its strap, because the strap is wonderfully channeled. It has two functions. One, it allows moisture, grit, and sweat to escape your wrist and not be pinned against the skin on a hot day, and two, by evacuating part of the underside of the rubber, you make it much more flexible and pliant so it's comfortable to wear. The watch has a spectacular twin trigger, double deployant, beautifully satin and polish finished deployant clasp. This is just as good as it gets. Now, it doesn't have a dive extension, and maybe that's the only knock on it, but it's not a dive watch, even though it is 150 meters water resistant. You can see even on the interior, the Maltese cross motif is repeated. Combination of polish and satin finish and twin swing arms, so it doesn't have the one big up and over closure of a single deployant clasp. The single fold sometimes can pinch skin on a smaller wrist. None of that here. Vacheron even manages to integrate the spring action of the twin trigger into the swing arm of one of the deployant elements, so the watch is both the look of a simple pin buckle when closed. There's no additional mechanism. It can fold flat. It looks like a pin buckle, albeit one with a beautiful high-polished Maltese cross motif, but it does have the security of a twin trigger deploying clasp, so you're not going to drop the watch accidentally when putting it on or taking it off. Moreover, it can't simply release itself, not being friction fit. You'll see that the case features two elements that really set it apart. First, you can see the gray metal of the titanium bezel, and then you can see that even the stainless steel elements have been wonderfully contrast finished, brushed on the tops of the lugs and the tops of the case, and then polished on the flanks for great contrast. There's a lot going on this watch, and a lot of spectacular metalwork that adds real artisanal value to the horological value of the Perpetual Calendar Chronograph. Now, you can see moving in from the bezel, the watch is a complementary anthracite sunburst to match the color of the bezel itself, but the rayhot that slopes down from the bezel to the dial base is nicely black with a contrasting white print for easy reference, and you can read the chronograph seconds off that rayhot. What you can also see is that each of the sub-registers is nicely counterbalanced 3 to 9 o'clock, 12 to 6 o'clock, beautiful cruciform symmetry, and quite easy to differentiate thanks to the use of yellow for the chronograph hours, minutes, and seconds. You can easily tell them apart from the sub-seconds at 6 o'clock, as well as the date, month, and leap year cycle of the perpetual calendar. Now, each of the sub-registers is also sunken into the dial, with the exception of the sub-seconds, to add another layer of texture. It's beautifully loomed hour and minute hands, as well as all of the stations of the hours, so it is a true sports watch, 150 meter water resistant and visible in low or no light conditions. Now on the case back you see the full rigged ship that is the emblem of the Overseas line, a tribute to Francois Constantin's early 19th century journey to the United States and North America, which helped to establish a long-standing special relationship between those markets and Vacheron Constantin. It also functions as a cover for the soft iron shield that protects the movement from magnetism, and it does have far more anti-magnetic properties to it, the degree of magnetic shielding being several multiples of the ISO standard definition for an anti-magnetic watch. So that's what you get from the solid caseback. Beneath that caseback is a Vacheron Constantin caliber 1136QP. Now, what it is a Frederic Piguet 1185 automatic winding ultra-thin integrated column wheel vertical clutch chronograph, still unidirectional winding, 21,600 vibrations per hour, and of course it does have that crisp column wheel action to it when you start and stop the chronograph. And it does have the ability to simply run the chronograph continuously. If you prefer to have center seconds hand, vertical clutch, no additional wear and tear on the mechanism. Now, of course, it has a 40-hour power reserve, so you're going to want to wind this watch daily if you don't wear it daily, because you do have the complex calendar indications as well as the moon phase to keep in sync. But frankly, if you owned a watch this versatile, this handsome, and this exciting, why wouldn't you wear it every day? You can see this phenomenal Vacheron Constantin, reference 4920 Perpetual Calendar Chronograph, one of the 80 made, and buy it on our website, govbergwatches.com.